Welcome to the new Infinite Campus interface. We think you'll find it easy to use, convenient to navigate, and full of nice features to assist you as you work with Infinite Campus. The first thing that you'll notice is that the login screen has changed. You'll be greeted with a cheerful green screen that contains a lot of information. On this splash screen, you'll see a location to enter your username and password. And on the right-hand side of the login area, you'll also see information on the current version of Campus the district is running. After you log in, you'll find that the look and feel of the user interface, or the UI, has changed significantly. Infinite Campus is a very dynamic software, and the revamped user interface was created to provide a more solidly programmed foundation to support updates and changes. The first thing that you'll notice is that you're no longer working in the traditional campus outline, and it looks very different. Instead, teachers are taken to campus instruction, an application designed specifically for teachers. Here you'll find all of the tools you need to do your job on a daily basis. So let's begin our tour. In the banner at the top of the screen, you'll see your name directly to the right-hand side of the Infinite Campus logo. As you continue on across the screen to the right-hand side, you'll see a drop-down option that allows you to switch from one school year to another school year and from one school to another if you've been provided appropriate security access to do so. As we continue to look at the banner, directly to the right side of the year and school selection drop-down, you'll see a bell. When Campus makes a significant change to software functionality, they'll post notifications here. If you have a notification, you'll see a small number on the bell. And by selecting the bell, you'll see any notifications that have been published. As new notifications are published, a number will reappear on the bell, and you can read all about what may be coming to Infinite Campus. To the right-hand side of the notifications bell, you'll find the App Switcher. When selected, you'll see a link to Campus Tools. So should you need to access custom reports not available in Campus instruction, selecting this link will take you back to the traditional toolset. You'll also see a link here to Campus Community. Campus Community is a website provided by Infinite Campus that houses all of the help documentation for the software. All Infinite Campus users may create a Campus Community account and access the help documentation. Toward the end of the presentation, I'll walk you through the process of creating an account. You can also access the help documentation by selecting the question mark icon to the right-hand side of the App Switcher. Once your Campus Community account is created, you'll be able to use this option to navigate directly to help documentation for any Infinite Campus screen you may have selected. When you're ready to exit Infinite Campus, you'll select Log Off in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. This was moved to the top of the screen to remain consistent with the industry standard and to make it easier for staff to find the option. Please make it a practice to exit Campus using Log Off to help minimize your login impact on district networking resources. Logging off can help to eliminate extra network traffic. Down the left-hand side of the screen, you'll find the campus outline. Here is where you'll access the various parts of Infinite Campus to which your district has provided security access. We won't go into detail on all of these areas, but let's look at a few key areas you'll want to explore right away. First is the Message Center on the right-hand side of the screen. This has replaced your process inbox. District and school announcements that previously appeared in your process inbox will now appear here. You have the opportunity to determine which items you wish to see, all items, process alerts, or announcements, Process alerts are going to be items for which you've received a notification that requires some action on your part, and announcements will be posted at the school or district level, providing information for end users. You can choose which items you would like to display and determine how you wish to have those items sorted. Stickies, those with a Post-it note icon, are announcements that have been posted with long-term information or information that the poster wanted to make sure remained on your screen. You won't be able to remove announcements that are set up as stickies. Other messages and process notifications which may need your attention also appear in the Message Center. Teachers have the ability to determine which of these they may wish to remove or archive for future reference. You probably already noticed that while reminders to take attendance used to appear in your process inbox, they don't appear in the Message Center. That's because attendance has been moved to its own module. The attendance link in the outline will include a small orange box that lets you know for how many periods you are expected to take attendance each day. As you complete attendance each period, the value in the box will count down. Once you've completed taking attendance for the day, the box will disappear. Selecting the attendance link will open your attendance rosters or seating charts, dependent on how you have set up your account preferences. When a class is selected, the roster or seating chart of students will appear. The student names are links to student data. Clicking directly on a student name will open a detail window that contains student contact information, which can be printed should a hard copy be necessary. If you need more information on the student, you may select the To Student Information link and the Student Details screen. When selected, this will take you to the Campus Tool tabs for which you've been granted security access. To return to campus instruction, you use your browser back button. In attendance, either from a roster or a seating chart, you will mark students who are absent from your class by selecting A. If your school also asks you to record tardy information, you'll select T for any students late to class. Once you have selected an absence reason, you may enter any comments you would like. Keeping in mind that these comments will appear in the portal as soon as the attendance record is saved. As with previous functionality, should the office staff mark a student absent, you'll see that information on the attendance roster or seating chart, but will not be able to change it. Once you have completed and submitted attendance for a section by choosing Save at the top of the screen, a check mark will appear next to that period to help you remember for which periods you have completed attendance. In addition, the attendance period counter will remove that period from the daily total. It's important to note that even if all students are present in class, you still must submit attendance to the office. Many teachers prefer to take attendance from a seating chart. The seating chart functionality has also been greatly enhanced in this version. So let's go ahead and take a look. When selecting seating chart, until you have created a chart, the screen will simply read, "No seating charts have been made yet for this calendar." By selecting New at the top of the screen, you have begun the process to create a seating chart. First, you'll want to select the course section for which you prefer to create a chart. If you are teaching any periods in which multiple courses are scheduled, those will appear at the bottom of your section list. And you will be able to create a single chart for multiple courses should you desire. After the selection for which you would like to create a chart, you'll need to give the chart a name. Chart names must be unique, so you may wish to add a period designation to the name to help with this task. For instance, daily attendance, period 1. By default, Infinite Campus sets up your seating chart with 5 columns and 5 rows. It also lets you see how many students you have in this specific section. You can increase or decrease the columns and rows at any time. If you don't have enough seats after you've made your column and row selections, the system will let you know that you don't have enough seats for the students in your section. So I'll go ahead and increase that, and we can see now that that warning message has gone away. You can assign vertical and horizontal space between desks to help in desk placement. Your selection options are none, meaning you'll be able to push the desks as close together as you desire in your seating chart, 1/2 desk or 1 desk. In your setup, you will have the option to move your desks around, so these selections are going to impact how close together you'll be able to set up your desks. Finally, you can ask Campus to automatically fill the seats alphabetically A to Z, alphabetically Z to A, in a random assignment, or if you plan to place the students into specific seats, you may select Do Not Place. That's the option that I'm going to select. Selecting Create Chart will open your seating chart window. There are many options on this screen. Please plan to take some time to work with the seating charts. In the main seating chart grid, you can move the desks wherever you would like to place them. So I can set this up so it replicates the seating arrangement in my classroom. You'll notice in my seating chart, because I didn't ask it to place any students in the seats, I see a list of all of the students in my class. If it's my choice to place students into specific seats by dragging them onto those seats, I simply select the student name and place them in the seat that I'd like for them to occupy. I still have the option here to place the students, and when selected, the same options are available, alphabetically A to Z, Z to A, or randomly. I'll go ahead and select random, and you'll see now that all of the students have a seat in my seating chart. If I decide that I actually want to move some kids around, maybe I've decided that Kimberly shouldn't sit next to Dahlia. I can go ahead and select the student, drag them to another seat, and the seating chart setup will automatically move the students back and forth. Once I've created my seating chart, I can save. Now, if at any time I needed to add a desk, there's an option at the top of the screen to add a desk. If I have extra desks that don't have students in them, I can also remove those simply by clicking on the X. On the seating chart, once it's been saved, I can then take this layout and copy it to my other classes. This can really save time as you're setting seating charts up for your courses. In addition, if I'd like to have a hard copy of this seating chart to put in a folder for a substitute teacher, at the top of the screen I can select Report Options. Here I can choose to include the last name and the first name. If we have nicknames in the system, we can also include that. And once you have student pictures in the system, which you probably already have in there, we can include the picture and generate that report. This would be really nice information to make available to a substitute teacher so that they can assure that the students occupying those seats are the students you intended to have occupy those seats. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's available in the roster. Like previous versions of Infinite Campus, you'll be able to access information on students in your classes. Unlike previous versions, when you select Roster from the Infinite Campus outline, you'll switch from term to term and class to class right on the same screen, rather than from the top of the Infinite Campus screen. This display has also been updated along with the rest of the Infinite Campus interface. Like in attendance, if I wanted more information on a student, I could select their name and it would pop open and give me that detailed information as well as a link to the campus tools. At the top of this screen, you have the opportunity to view all of the students, just the active students, just incoming students or dropped students, and you can also print your roster out should you need to take it with you somewhere. You'll see a list of your students with their gender and grade level and birth date, and if your district has applied any specific flags to students or health conditions, those will also appear by hovering over the icon. The roster gives you a male, female, and grade level breakdown as well to give you information on the constitution and makeup of your class. Lower in the campus outline, we see a number of different report options. Previously, the reports in Infinite Campus were in a single menu item. Now the reports are grouped by specific subject area. So if I'm looking for attendance reports, when I select Reports Attendance, I'll be presented with the various reports that relate directly to attendance. There are also gradebook reports, planner reports, and roster reports. At the far lower left-hand corner of the outline, you'll find Your Account Settings. Here you'll be able to set your preferences for how campus will display for you. The preferences can be changed at any time and will only impact how data is displayed in Infinite Campus. Probably the largest and most effective change in campus instruction is your gradebook setup. Instead of setting up some things in one area and other things somewhere else, all gradebook setup is now housed in the gradebook. So let's take a look. When you select Gradebook, you'll be presented at the top of the screen with drop-down options that allow you to switch from term to term, section to section, and task to task. Above the grading grid, you'll see Add, Sort, and Filter. We'll discuss these in just a moment. If you have many assignments, you'll also see pages to scroll through your assignments to view them. We'll discuss how these appear momentarily. All gradebook setup is done by selecting the Settings option in the gradebook grid. The right-facing arrows, also called chevrons, indicate that if the selected portion of the screen is chosen, it will expand. Now that I've gone ahead and expanded the settings, let's talk about some of the options here. The available values will differ on occasion when version updates are done, but the functionality remains the same in all of the versions. Some of these items just move around sometimes if an update is done. There are a number of items available, but let's go ahead and focus on those that most affect your gradebook. First, let's look at categories. The category setup here is very much the same kind of category setup that you did under the Assignments tool in the old campus instruction module. You'll still need to set up categories and associate weights if appropriate. All the same setup you did before is done in one place now, in the gradebook. If we take a quick look at the categories, you'll see we've got the same sort of setup that we're used to. We're asked for a name, a weight, we can sequence, the same options are available, and we can determine which tasks or tasks we wish to have this specific category aligned with. Grade calculation options are also set up here. When I select grade calculation options, I see the same sorts of options that I'm used to seeing. I need to indicate which grade I wish to set calculation options for and select the appropriate grading scale. Calculations set up in the previous instruction module should come directly over into campus instruction, but it's always a good idea to check this out at the beginning of any term, regardless of your campus version, to verify that the information is accurate. There are a couple of handy little tools here. There's a category copier and an assignment copier. These existed in the previous assignment tool, but again are now all located within your gradebook setup. Once you have created the categories in one course section, you can copy them to other courses. Once you have created assignments in one course section, they can be copied to other sections using the copier tool. In the Preferences area, you will control how data will display in your gradebook. Here you will have the option to display a sparkline graph showing a thumbnail picture of a student's progress over time. You can also turn on pass-fail coloring for in-progress and posted grades. In addition, you can turn on pass-fail coloring for individual assignment scores. For staff who want a little extra reassurance that their gradebook has saved, you can turn on a Save Alert. Each time you save your gradebook, an additional message will pop up on the screen letting you know your save was successful. If your district asks you to use comments from a bank of predefined options, you'll want to choose Use Canned Comments so that you have access to the comments bank. You can also determine how many assignments you wish to include on any page. Remember that I discussed this earlier. So when selected, what appears on the screen is a paginated view of assignments, allowing you to determine how many you wish to have appear on the screen at any given time. Now let's look at the filter options. You can control what data is displayed at both the student and assignment levels. Filters applied at the student level will impact which students are displayed along with their assignments. Filters applied at the assignment level will impact which assignments are displayed along with the student associations. Both of these filtering options allow you to search by individual student or for a specific assignment. When any of the filters are selected, the gradebook display will update to show only the filter data that you have chosen. I'm going to collapse our settings because we're done looking at those, and we'll talk about grade totals. By default, the grade totals are displayed. If you prefer to only see assignments, you can collapse the grade totals by selecting the chevron next to the identifier. As noted before, if a chevron is pointing towards the right, selecting it will expand that portion of the screen. If a chevron is pointing to the left, selecting it will collapse that portion of the screen. To add an assignment, you select the Add button. Here you'll have the same options that you previously had when adding assignments. You'll be asked to enter an assignment name, an abbreviation. You'll associate that with the appropriate section or sections, and you'll need to align that with the appropriate grading task and category. To score assignment, if I simply want to enter scores, I can click into the grid. I can select the cell I wish to populate and fill that data. I can use a number of different keyboard options to move around on the screen. Entering will move me from one student to the next student straight down through the cells. I can use the arrow keys to move left and right and up and down, very similar to the way data can be entered in a spreadsheet. Hovering over an assignment will allow you to get detailed information on that assignment, including the name, the task it's assigned to, and if we have scores entered, it will allow us to see, based on the scores entered in the system, the mean, standard deviation, range, and score count. And then it will break that information down into individual quartiles. Clicking on the chevron at the right-hand side of the assignment will expand the assignment. Once an assignment is expanded, you'll have access to the many flags used for information. Selecting a flag in the header portion of the assignment will apply that flag to all of the active students. Selecting a flag next to an individual student will apply that flag only to the student selected. Hovering over any flag, either at the header or individual student level, will give you information regarding what that flag indicator is. You can also fill scores for students by selecting Fill Scores and Comments. Because I've already entered an individual student score, it wants to make sure that I save that data prior to filling. On the Fill screen, I have the option to fill scores or comments or both. This is new compared to the old instruction tools. In the old instruction tools, while you could fill scores, you couldn't fill comments. So if the bulk of my students received a 4 on this assignment, I can go ahead and fill that score option in. I then have the opportunity to fill that in for all of the students, only the students who have an empty value in the cell, or the students who were present the day the assignment was due and still have an empty score. Once I've selected the appropriate options, I'll choose Fill, and the scores will be filled in for all of my students. These options can really speed up score entry if the majority of your students received the same or similar scores. I could then go in and just make any changes that were necessary. Finally, when it's time to post grades, your school will let you know, and the Post option will appear under the In Progress grades. When Post is selected, you'll choose the task that is open for the receipt of scores. If the task is different than the task in which you're currently working, you'll select the task drop-down. And when the scores are saved, the gradebook will automatically take you to the Posted task so that you may modify any scores or percentages that may need updated prior to hitting the Save button. You'll notice that now I've moved to the Eligibility task, which was the task to which I wished to post a score. And once I've verified that this is the correct information, I can hit Save. Because I turned on the Save alert, I get additional confirmation that my gradebook has been saved. At the beginning of the session, I showed you the link to Campus Community. Each Infinite Campus user can create a Campus Community account by selecting the Campus Community icon in the app switcher. Once selected, a screen will appear asking you to create a new Campus ID. On the following screen, read through the terms of use by using the scroll bar on the right-hand side or clicking on the link that says View in a separate window. Mark the I have read and agree to the terms of use and select Continue. Create a username. This username will be visible to other users primarily as you post on forums in Campus Community. Usernames must be unique and cannot be changed once created. Create a password. Passwords must be at least 6 characters long and should include 2 or more of the following: uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, or symbols. You may use the same username and password that you use for Infinite Campus login as long as the username is not already in use and the password meets the minimum requirements. You'll only need this information once to create your Campus Community credentials. Confirm that your password is correct and that your registration information is correct. And please change anything on the screen that is not accurate. On the following screen, enter your primary district role or title. Select your school district or organization. If there is more than one school or organization available, select the one that most accurately meets your current affiliation. Select your city, state, and select your time zone. This will impact timestamps visible in the forums. Ready, set, and go. Click Finish when you're done, and you'll have completed setting up your account. Now, anytime you wish to access Campus Community documentation, you'll already be connected, and you can get there simply by selecting the Campus Community link. So let's take a quick tour of Campus Community. Remember, you can access Campus Community by selecting the Campus Community icon from the app switcher in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, or by selecting the question mark for a specific screen that you might have open. Campus Community is comprised of 3 separate tabs. The News tab has a wealth of information for campus users, including information about campus products and services down the left-hand side of the screen, as well as historical help information. The center section of the News tab is filled with news alerts and information of interest and importance to campus users. On the right-hand side of the News tab, you'll see a list of upcoming events, including user meetings and Infinite Campus University training classes. The second tab of Campus Community is the Forums tab. Here, users can access data of topics of interest and join the conversation with users across the country. Forum posts are monitored by Infinite Campus staff members, and they respond to questions and concerns as well as provide helpful information to users. The final tab is the Knowledge Base tab. Here, users will find information on all the different parts of Infinite Campus. This screen is also divided into 3 sections. The left-hand side of this screen is product information and is the same basic layout as the Infinite Campus outline. Of specific interest to teachers is the section at the top of the outline called Campus Instruction. This portion of the knowledge base contains all the information that you'll need to know to use campus instruction. As you select an option, it will expand and you'll see additional choices. Making a specific choice will provide a number of different types of learning tools for your use. There are 5 different content types available when selecting an option. I've selected Roster from the outline, and you can see that there are a number of different items that I can look at. I can view looking at the student summary or printing a section's roster. I can look at how to view my roster or record an intervention on my roster. There are 5 content types, and those are designed to look at the various learning styles of Campus Community users. The first content type is curriculum, represented by a small icon that looks very much like a cell phone. Curriculum is designed for staff members who can best be served with step-by-step instructions for task completion. Documentation, represented by the open textbook icon, will present users with detailed articles that describe the technical aspects of various tools. Users who really want to dig into a topic will find the hands-on virtual labs helpful. These labs will take users to a number of different resources for each topic, including documentation, simulations, and videos. For users who really prefer to learn by doing, simulations, represented by a small hand pointing upwards, provide users with specific scenarios, then click-by-click instructions to satisfy the criteria of the scenario in a non-campus linked database environment. Last and certainly not least, for individuals who find they learn best by someone show them how to do something, Campus Community provides videos, which Infinite Campus trainers will provide, walking users through how a process is completed. All of this information is available all of the time by simply selecting Campus Community from the app switcher. Teachers also have the ability to navigate back to the traditional campus tool set. Should there be reports available there that you don't see available in the campus instruction outline, selecting Campus Tools will take you into the more traditional campus outline. You can immediately return to campus instruction by selecting the App Switcher and choosing Campus Instruction. We sincerely hope that you'll find the updated user interface intuitive and easy to use. And always remember, once you've created your campus community account, you'll have a resource that's available to you anytime you log into Infinite Campus to help answer your questions. Thanks and enjoy the new Infinite Campus user interface.